Okay, so welcome back, everyone.
So we had a very beautiful meditation in the last session. And so we're curious about, how did you feel? What did you notice? And also, if you have questions, we're going to spend this next session, or a big part of it, just answering questions, hearing the response to the meditation that we just completed with the masters and the inner children. So for those of you at home, just put your questions or your comments in the chat, and we'll start with someone here in the room. If you have a comment, question. And we ask everyone, when someone's talking or when things are being shared, be really present and receive the energies that come with that response. Okay.
I'd like to share my experience of the evolution of my relationship to the Stargate this weekend has been I can't big. Over the weekend till it's been getting brighter in my meditation around when I create my Stargate, and it has become a being. It's luminous. It's a luminous gold being, kind of as bright as like the heart of lava, that bright. And it loves multiplying. And so at the beginning of the weekend, I started placing them in different places within my body. And now I don't do that anymore, because everywhere I go, there it is, another one and another one. And it's like around each cell. And it's just loving multiplying. And now in this previous meditation, it started beaming light to each other. And I'm overwhelmed with joy and just excitement about that.
That's beautiful that you see that and you experience that, because that's exactly what's happening. They are all connecting. And also, one of the things that we've done in the past is invite people to put or to ask for an etheric stargate in every cell of the body. Mm-hmm. And you're already moving towards that yourself. And that's really beautiful. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And so for those of you who are watching online, there is an invitation to write your questions for Alcazar in the chat. And it can be about anything. So ask.
And also just let us know how you experienced that last meditation.
Yeah, a few people have shared some comments. You want to hear them? Yeah. Okay. Rose is saying, my child feeling very loved and cherished. Anik saying, I wasn't consciously present, but when I woke up, I heard the song like a bridge over troubled waters again. Someone saying that she can feel your description of the Stargate so viscerally. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. And there's like one question from Wynette. When we are in the new timeline, will we know what is happening in the old timeline and to the ones we know that are still there?
Beloved ones, It is not that those who are remaining in the old way of being are going to simply disappear from your reality. It is just that your energy, your presence, your experiencing is going to get higher and more beautiful. You are going to be more creative in your life. What does that mean? It means that what you desire and what you focus on creating can happen more easily from this higher timeline. So, for example, we've been using these two. They are going to be able to create a more beautiful home environment, something more perfect for the Stargate and for themselves, simply by shifting and allowing the shift into the new timeline. It's, to put it another way, it is almost as if those people stepping onto the new timeline become more wealthy. It's almost as if suddenly they have more money to spend. I'm not saying this is how it's going to be, but in relationship to your friends who are doing the same work, receiving the same payment, you are going to be more abundant, more wealthy, more joyful. And the rapids are going to be there, and so you're still going to have your challenges. But those people that remain in the old way of being will just continue in their lives and will perhaps find more challenges and more difficulties, more struggle in resolving the issues that come up in their lives. So do not feel like they are going to disappear. No, they are just going to have a different, perhaps more difficult experience with the new. That's a beautiful question. Thank you.
Thank you.
So someone in the room now?
So I'm savoring that last meditation. It was, wow, the first meditation of 2024. I don't recall having a meditation that was more profound. So when we were going up to the 12th, I could feel and sense that all of us hearing the words to go to the 12th dimension, that we were all able to get there and go further into the 12th. And it was really powerful and palpable for me. When the masters came together and my little girl came and sat on my lap, the connection and what was brought through and felt and known by her from Kuan Yin and from the Buddha just released a lot of the questions and things that I've been working on. And with Kuan Yin, it was, you too can be this beautiful as Kuan Yin. And Kuan Yin, as most of us know, rides a dragon, and that my dragons are now always going to be there with her as she's moving into her sovereignty and moving into being a beautiful adult woman. I've shared with people in the past and that I never felt like my parents had taught me very well on how to work here or be in this existence. And the little girl, my little girl, accepted the Buddha as her teacher, and that she will now be learning from the Buddha And I'm really grateful, really
Beautiful.
profoundly grateful for that meditation.
Thank you. It's not turned on.
I saw Jesus and Mary on this like blanket, and there was all this light behind them, and my little girl was sitting with them, and I hadn't been a visual person before, but it seems to be coming on right now, and I am so excited. That's been so wonderful, and this whole intensive, I feel like I've been making giant steps. Like, it's like the accumulation of all the workshops that I've been to through the years. This one is making me take a huge step forward, and I'm going to listen to all the meditations over and over again. And thank you so much. It's so wonderful. Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing. We never know when we're going to leap. And very often with this kind of experiential, spiritual work, we go through different phases. So it's really cool that the visions are opening for you. And I know like a lot of people wonder about how to open to these things. And I think it really is just about being like excited and curious about what's going to show up for you. Because every time you enter the field, anything could happen.
I want to do a follow-up question to about what's happening in our shift. So we're going to be more abundant of whatever, and the people who don't choose to go this timeline, will they eventually be able to choose to go to this new timeline and be abundant, or are they going to be stuck in the old ways?
So, first of all, don't get attached to the word abundant. We're not talking about money. Alcazar talks abundance on all levels, which simply means an elevating of your life experience in all areas. More love, more joy, more friendship, more freedom to travel, all these different things. And it depends on each individual where they put their focus on this new timeline. So where you put your focus, you're going to be more creative. You're going to draw into your life experiences more easily that which you are wishing to create. So those people that do not step onto this new timeline, it's always available. Everyone, everywhere, always has the possibility to raise the vibration. It's as simple as that. And as Alcazar said in the past, for those people who are continuing in the old way, when the challenges, personal challenges and global challenges happen, then in that intensity, there's a potential for individuals to say, enough. I don't want to live like this anymore. And what's happening already is more and more people are turning, looking for different ways to live. More people are turning to meditation and other techniques. Those things are always there. The Stargate is always there. People can find it. People will connect to anything that can support them where they're at and what's in alignment with the way that they think and feel. So it's not hopeless for those people not stepping up onto a new timeline, but it can be more difficult. until they decide to shift their focus out of fear into love. Okay?
Thank you.
I'm wondering if Alcazar can clarify when we shifted the timeline for humanity and cause, for example, it's not like we split and made two different realities on Earth, and we're in the higher one, and in the lower one, there's like a different thing happening. Like, that's my understanding, is like when we, as humanity, as representatives of humanity, raise our vibration and step onto this higher timeline, we're actually like helping to steer the trajectory of all of humanity as a whole.
Exactly, beloved. You are all connected by the morphic field. It is an energetic that you do not see or feel most of the time. But science is aware of its existence. There have been experiments which have noticed shifts in the energetic of the morphic field. So, as more and more people raise their vibration, they are raising the vibration of the morphic field. And so, as the vibration of the field elevates, it touches everyone. So even those with the darkest thoughts, the most aggressive, controlling, those people are going to be in an environment where the energy is higher, and it is going to affect them in the same way. For example, as when you are relaxed here and the masters come in, you are affected by it. You are affected by the energetics surrounding you. And so everyone is going to be affected by the gentle elevation of the morphic field. Those people who are consciously choosing to operate at the higher frequency will find, as we said, life becoming very different. They'll be more creative. It's a process. It's the next step. And there'll be another step after that and another one after that. But it is not, as some of your Christian religions believe, that suddenly only the good ones will go to heaven and everyone else will simply be left behind. No. It is not like this at all. Okay?
Thank you. Tyler is asking, how long will it be before we can consciously move into the quantum field on our own without the Stargate having to escort us there?
Beloved, you are always in the quantum field. The images that we give you are to assist you in being aware of the existence of this quantum field. It is attempting to support you to disconnect to the third dimensional reality for a moment. It is not that you totally disconnect, but it starts to make you aware of other realities, other potentials. So, as we have said in the past, the quantum field is not somewhere else. The quantum field is the space that exists between the nucleus and the electrons circling around in an atom. You are comprised of trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of atoms forming this physical body as you see it. And so, As we have said, your science tells you that you are 99.999% space. The rest, the minuscule part that is left, is energy. So you are made up mostly of the quantum field. But because it is so difficult to grasp that, we give you a story, as we have explained. This is not a reality. This is a way to assist you becoming less attached to the physical when we say, feel your consciousness, feel your presence, and imagine your consciousness leaving the body and going into the quantum field. This is a story. This is a parable. This is a way of encouraging you to connect to the field and beyond, to be able to connect to the energies of spirit. Right now, the connections that you have are relatively superficial, which is why we repeat these meditations in different ways. The more you can experience these meditations, the deeper you go and the stronger the connection to a greater reality starts to occur. So how long will it take? It is already happening. You do not need guidance to be in the field. You are already in it. The guidance is not to take you into the quantum field, but to make you aware of it. But the beautiful question, thank you so much.
Okay. Anik is asking, I would like to know from Alcazar if he can confirm my years of premonitions of when the galactics are going to show themselves and their ships to the Earth.
Beloved one, they have already shown. They have been showing their presence for many of your years. They have communicated with governments around your earth, had conversations with your presidents, your leaders. We have offered support and been refused because we had certain demands. We offered to bring technologies to you, to Earth, to those countries that would say, okay, in exchange for these technologies, we will stop fighting. We will use our armed forces to start to change our societies. We will feed the hungry, homes to the homeless. Do these things and we will support you. And they all said no. All out of fear and all out of the subtle manipulations that are happening behind your governments. So, your predictions of when they will show themselves are more personal, more global. When this will occur depends very much on the state of humanity and the evolution. The craft do not want to create fear. Those in power are continuously creating many of your movies about the aliens wanting to come and take over the earth. They create fear. Your governments around the world and those behind the governments do not wish you to be aware that you are in a universe thriving with intelligent beings who are waiting for humanity as a whole to wake up and evolve. But those behind the scenes, those who are controlling your politicians, do not wish for that to occur because they know that should the Galactic Command and others bring all that they have to share, then they would no longer be in control. They would lose the power and the wealth that they have accumulated over the centuries. So, beloved one, the moment that there is a global awareness of the craft revealing themselves is still not defined. It is a potential, and that is not happening yet. And in truth, that is all that matters. It is not happening yet. The more individuals who raise their vibration, the more individuals who welcome the support from the galactic and other benevolent beings, the more that happens, the sooner it will occur. So thank you for your question.
For the last month to month and a half, I've been very aware of not feeling my passion for life. Not feeling my a strong desire to reach out and give love. And this week, of course, it's been coming. I'm feeling more and more of those things. And then after this meditation this morning, I'm overwhelmed with love and joy and gratitude. My little girl feels so free and giggly and happy. And it's just wonderful. Thank you.
Beloved, that is your nature. It is your nature. You are a loving, generous with your energy person. And you have simply fallen into the trap of looking at what is happening in the world and feeling hopeless and helpless. There's a very special word here in America to describe that. It is bullshit. Do not focus on what is happening in the world. First of all, that which you are shown through your media is so manipulated. You have no idea really what is happening in the world. You only see what is happening in your own environment. So, we are overjoyed that you are once again connecting with your very nature. And we hope that you will start to share that loving beingness that is you freely with everyone who is fortunate enough to come close to you. We thank you.
Thank you.
Alcazar, I'm wondering if you can say a little bit about this void space that we've been in, and in particular the lethargy that has been co-present. And then also you said to Prageetna last night that it's really important that we complete this phase of letting go of the old, that we complete this phase and give it proper energy to do it right. So if you have anything to say to the collective about that.
As we have mentioned before, many people have been feeling this energy of hopelessness. Everything is so bad. And as you have just heard from the last one commenting, shutting down, giving up. Understand that there is a certain energetic on your planet right now, which will be changing very soon, that supports you in feeling like, I don't want to do anything. I don't really want to go to work. I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to do this, that, or the other. I just want to stay in bed. I just want to stay and watch movies all day. That kind of energetic. And that is there for very many people. It is simply something which is a transitioning energy. It is not negative. When you created a shift in the timeline for humanity, you created a major energetic shift. It is difficult for the mind to accept that a couple of thousand people around your world creating a huge energy field together can literally shift the timeline of humanity. We cannot and will not explain the physics of it, so to speak. But when that occurred, especially for those who were aware of it, it put you in a space which we have sometimes called a void space, a no-thingness space, where you cannot continue to operate in the old way. The new way is not there yet. And so you're energetically, you are being held back by your superconscious self, by your own awareness, that you cannot take the old ways of being into the new. You have to let go of some of those lower frequency ways of being, ways of thinking, ways of behaving. And so you feel a bit stuck. You do not know what the new is like. And so you find yourself in this space of lethargicness. Many people have been. It is okay. If you can understand, this is just to allow you to recognize you cannot continue in the old way. That is why you feel, oh, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do the dishes. These are all part of your old lifestyle. Energetically, your superconscious is saying to you, drop the old. And your interpretation of that is don't go to work, don't do the dishes, etc. Start to understand that this lethargy is just saying to you, let go of the old, be ready for the new. Call forth the new. You do not know what the new is. And there is part of you that is afraid of change. It is biological. Your biology is afraid of change. And so you have to consciously intend to change. Desire change. And that desire and intention moves you onto this higher timeline. So, does that make it a little clearer, beloved one?
Yeah, thank you. A question from Pavel. I have wondered what the universe looks like through the eyes of a being from a higher dimension. I'm asking because I don't fully understand the concept of higher dimensions in relation to the 4D we are in.
It is very difficult to describe your 3D reality to a blind person. And so it is very difficult to describe higher dimensional realities to a third dimensional being. And so it is a challenge to answer your question. Let us say this. There are many very advanced civilizations in your universe, in your universes. Humanity is not yet aware of the existence of other universes, but your scientists and mathematicians are aware of that as a potential. There are many what we call star families or civilizations that exist in your universe who are what you would call enlightened, who have gone through this process that humanity is going through now, and the whole society has reached that place of living in oneness with each other. There are many societies like this. The Pleiadians are the group that most recently reached that state of enlightenment of the whole of their society. And when we say most recently, we are talking about over 1 million of your Earth years ago. Time is very different out there in the universe. There are beings who are thousands and thousands of years old, as you would say. So what does it look like for them? They have memories going back for many thousands of years. And they can access those memories, even if it was 1,000 years ago. It is not the same for you. This one Prageet can hardly remember what he did yesterday. Being human is very different. So, beloved one, rather than trying to understand what it is like for higher dimensional beings, see if you can connect to them. See if you can allow in these meditations to feel the support that comes from the masters, that comes from the star families. Because in this way, slowly, slowly, a deeper understanding of who you are, because you are also an ancient, ancient being who has been here on your earth for so many lifetimes, believing that you were just the physical body, because you agreed to forget where you came from when you first came to this earth, on this earthly journey of lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Your essence, your superconscious self, is very aware of who you are, where you have come from. And also, your superconscious self knows exactly the answer to the question that you have asked, because your superconscious self exists in those planes and dimensions. So thank you for your very interesting question. We enjoyed to answer it.
Okay, so here's a medical question from Judith. She's saying a recent scan showed a carotid artery blockage. If needed, she'll do surgery, yet she believes in energy healing. Is there enough time for that type of healing? And then she's also asking if the issue may be the calcifying of this lethargy and having to shut down as an empath. Is it possible this blockage will open once this phase has passed?
First of all, beloved one, we have to make it clear that we cannot offer medical advice. Having said that, we can offer energetic advice. We are not asking you to take what we are saying and make a medical diagnosis from it. As we have said many times in the past, your body is giving you messages. Your body is designed to function perfectly, and it does. But because of your belief systems, because of what you have been programmed to think, is that, oh, you are going to live to 70, 80, 90, maybe if you're lucky, 100 years and a few more. But basically, you are programmed to think you are going to die. That is a program. And the mind says, but look, it is obvious. I look around and this is what happens. People die. They grow old and die. Growing old itself is an illness. Take that in for a moment. Growing old is an illness. It is not something that is necessarily going to happen to you. So, when there is a malfunction in the body, it is created by you, by your programming, by your beliefs, and by your emotional feelings. Your subconscious is programmed for survival. When there is an emotional upset, something that you cannot resolve, it stays with you. It is a disturbance. The mind keeps on thinking about it again and again and again. So the conscious mind is involved with trying to figure out this emotional issue. And after a while, the subconscious says, this is dangerous. You are not resolving this issue. It is taking all your attention. You cannot take care of the body. You might step out in front of a bus. You might hurt yourself in a so-called accident because you are not present. And so the solution for the subconscious is to take that stress and place it somewhere in the body. It creates a dis-ease or illness, as you called it. Where exactly it affects the body depends very much on the emotional issue and your thoughts around it. So, beloved one, you have already thoughts around why you think it is the way it is. The blockage, the life force. The blood is taking all the nutrients, the oxygen, around the body. Blockage in this system can create severe issues, as you know, and as you are concerned. But first of all, in any situation with this imbalance or dis-ease in the body, first of all, disconnect from the fear around it. Whatever the dis-ease. We are talking to everyone right now. So often, when there is something happening in the body and you go to a regular doctor, they give you their diagnosis, and almost everyone drops immediately into fear. The doctor thinks that they are doing their job by warning you of the greatest consequence that might happen. But when the doctor says, oh, from this illness, there's a possibility that you might die, instantly, all that you hear is, I am going to die. And as soon as you think and feel, I am going to die, you start that process happening. So you have a blockage. If you can ask yourself, why did I create that? What is the meaning of this? What is the emotional issue that has triggered this? What has happened in my life that has created this limitation of life force flowing? You mentioned shutting down. Is this the key? It is not for us to tell you, it is for you to discover. It is of great import to understand how your body functions in relationship to the energies of emotion and thoughts that you place upon it. We cannot work with you directly right now for you to understand exactly what happened for you to create this imbalance. It can go. There is one who we would suggest you connect with, who can guide you, walk you through a process of understanding so that you can discover what exactly you are thinking and feeling, what you are avoiding that has created this imbalance. It is the one, Isabel Benarus, who we work with quite regularly in different seminars with the Stargate. We suggest you contact her right away and ask for a session with her. Let her understand what is happening with the body, and she will guide you through a process which quite possibly can help you release this without the surgery. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be an openness, a willingness to understand your past, to understand why you have created this, what you are avoiding in your life. So we thank you for your question, because it has relevance to very many people.
Thank you,
Thank
Officer.
you.
And one thing I've heard Isabel say is she never tells people not to pursue any kind of treatment.
Mm.
So you can actually approach any issue you're having on all of these different levels. You can address the underlying emotional cause. We would suggest you do that. You can also use modern medicine if that's something that you feel would be of assistance.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's important to not deny any pathway to healing. Okay, so this is a follow-up question from Elodie. She's saying consciousness never stops expanding. Why is Earth so important for the universes? Is there an end goal?
When we say consciousness never stops expanding, we are talking about the vast consciousness beyond and behind everything, that energy that we call spirit, that some call God, and many other names. Just as your universe continues to expand, so does consciousness continue to expand also. Why? Because it is imperfect. People get angry when we say God is imperfect. But beloved ones, when something is imperfect, there's an opportunity to grow. And so this vast consciousness is experiencing all the different possibilities of existence. Your third dimensional reality is a small part of the greater reality. There are many realms and dimensions teeming with life in many different forms. There are multiverses with life teeming in them, all with different experiences happening. Why? Simply because this vast consciousness is experiencing. Your Bible tries in a very simple way to describe the creation. God decided something and then there it was. That is a very simplistic way of describing creation. But that is just the creation of this small part of reality. As we have said in the Bible, it says at some point, let there be light. And there was light, and God thought it was pretty cool to have this light. This energetic that you call God, or whatever name you use, is simply being more and more aware of itself and its potential, just as you are becoming more and more aware of yourself and your potential. As you grow in consciousness, so does this vast energy that you call God. So will there be an end to it? If there was ever a beginning to it, there might be an end to it. Or there might not. This is something that together we will know as we grow and expand, reconnecting to the very source from whence we have come. Who knows? Alcazar certainly does not.
I love it when we find things Alcazar doesn't know.
You wish for us to tell you something else that we do not know?
Yes, please.
We do not know why you all hold on so stubbornly to things that are not working for you. repeating again and again these habits. And every time you look at the habit, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't want that anymore. I'm going to change that. I am not going to eat sugar anymore. Somebody says, want a cookie? Oh, thank you. That was good. Can I have another? Mm. So, just enjoy who you are and enjoy that Alcazar does not know everything. Someone else?
Kind of back to that discussion. that
Can you
was
hold the
happening.
microphone
Oh,
closer?
kind of back to a previous discussion. Yesterday, when our galactic helper came through, it's like I saw her like light up all these areas of my brain and kind of vitalize my body. And I do that a lot in my meditations, where I just kind of like what we did today, send a lot of love and healing to my body and myself. And I notice, like when I go to the grocery store or to a meeting, it's like my vibe is really high. It's like, whoa. And I think back to your question, is that part of like what we're doing is like we're raising the frequency. Like if you hug somebody or thank them or tell them what a nice, dress they're wearing, it's like it raises, because we're all in it together. We can't separate, but like we're raising the frequency just by who we are, is what I think.
That is what we have been saying for 30 years or more.
Okay. My
We are glad
interpretation.
you are understanding.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. There are a few questions about how the physical body will change moving into the new timeline. Like someone asked if the body will become less dense. Someone else asked if there will be more spontaneous healings.
Beloveds, it is entirely up to you. What is it you wish to create in your life? Will there be more spontaneous healing? That is up to you. What occurs when there is spontaneous healing? When you have a deep and absolute recognition that the illness that you have created in your body is totally your own creation from a program or a belief system that you were given either as a child or you adopted because of situations in your life. And those programs have created this dis-ease or illness. When you see all the different contributing factors, and there is this big aha, that is why I no longer need this. And when you say to yourself with absolute certainty, I no longer need this, I can see how it happened, I appreciate the learning from it, I no longer need this. Thank you, body, for giving me the opportunity to see this limitation. And now I let it go. And when you absolutely let it go, not because you think I'm going to let it go, because you actually do, then the body no longer needs to carry that imbalance, that illness. And healing happens virtually, instantly. We have seen this many times with the Stargate work. that people who've come with certain illnesses have had that deep understanding. Why does it happen with the Stargate? Because people have an energetic experience where they move deeply into inner silence. And in that inner silence, clarity can happen. You see clearly. It only takes a moment of that absolute inner silence for the understanding to happen and a complete let go. And then the body rebalances itself. We talk very often about something that happened many years ago because it shows beautifully how this instant healing can happen. We will tell this story again, and I know many of you have heard it, but listen to understand why it happened. This lady was a nurse. She had an accident on her bicycle, banged her head, stopped breathing for a while, was brought back to life, but her optical nerve had died. 99% perhaps of the optical nerve died. The doctors told her she would never see again. She was receiving support from her government to continue her life. She came to a weekend workshop with her boyfriend or her partner. In the first lunch break, can you just give her a little shake? In the first lunch break, Brigitte was walking along a corridor and she came in the other direction with her partner. We shocked Brigitte by jumping in and saying to this woman, when you are ready, you can see again. She got very angry. This is not right. You are a spiritual person. You shouldn't be saying things like this. The doctors have told me I'll never see again. How can you do this? And she stomped off in anger. And we said to her as she walked away, who do you choose to believe? The next day, again in the lunch break, she came up to Brigitte and said, I choose to believe I can see again. And she meant it. And so we told her to lie down in the Stargate for the rest of the lunchtime, to stay in the Stargate with her eyes closed. And we did a meditation with the group. Nothing to do with her. She was just in the Stargate. At the end of the meditation, she opened her eyes and she could see again. Virtually perfect, and we told her what else she needed to do in order to bring back totally the vision. The reason it happened for her was she let go of a belief system, one that had been relatively recently, imposed upon her, which she accepted by the diagnosis from the doctors. After working for the first day and a half with the meditations, she allowed for a new possibility. And with her intention and her complete let go, the vision returned. This is so-called instant healing. It has happened for dozens of people, perhaps more, maybe hundreds now, through the Stargate energetics. The Stargate does not heal you. The Stargate simply creates an energetic field in which you can drop into stillness. And if there is an intention to understand, existence brings you the understanding. The body no longer needs to carry this message for you. And you can realign yourself. Okay. Something else? Anything in the room?
Thank you. Going back to the meditation today, each time that one of the masters was invited in, I actually felt this physical touch on my back and shoulder. Sort of shocked, and there's not too many people behind me, so. But the physical touch just sent this sort of warm, soft feeling through my body, and I could feel my little boy was comforted in some way. And then I don't remember anything else until the next master came in, and I was touched again. And that happened with each of them. And I've been reflecting on it since then, and it seemed as if each one had a different aspect of my little boy that it was being comforted. I don't want to go intellectual about trying to figure out what was what now. I probably will be processing it for quite a while. But it was such a distinct touch that was very physical and quite amazing. Thank you.
So, beloved one, why do you force yourself to be processing it for quite a while? Why? Why make things difficult when you can simply let go and allow the fullness of the experience to touch you? This is the mind. This is the male mind. And you all have a male mind, no matter what body you are in. The male aspect, thinking things have to be worked through and takes time. And it was not a physical touch. It was an energetic touch. But because of your receptivity, it felt almost as if it was a physical touch. These beings were not physically in the room, but energetically they were very here, very present. And because of the nature of the quantum field, they can work with each one of you individually. There were many others in this space that felt a touch, so to speak. It is beautiful that you share this, but do not try and analyze and work on it. Let that concept go and allow the energies to work with you totally. Because in truth, you cannot figure it out with your mind anyway. You will just create thoughts that form a complex 5-dimensional pretzel in your brain. Okay. one more thing from the world outside.
Okay. There's an interesting one from Christina. She's saying, is there existence beyond consciousness? What is it to be beyond mind in absolute silence / nothingness? Is it still consciousness?
Beloved one, that is when you experience pure consciousness. The mind, when it is active, is always taking you away from the experience of pure consciousness. It is a distraction. The mind and the emotions distract you from pure consciousness. The Stargate's energies are to guide you gently into that inner silence, which for most of you is difficult to achieve because of your attachment to your thinking process and your emotional process. You are constantly trying to think about and analyze things, trying to get to the best. Emotionally, you are trying to feel good, to feel better, to feel ecstatic, whatever it is. So you are constantly trying. Our intention is to guide you into the inner stillness where much can happen, where, as we have already mentioned, physical healing, rebalancing can happen when you let go of the old patterns. There is an understanding of the higher mind that happens when your human mind is still, it's silent. There is a depth of feeling from the higher heart that happens when you are not in your emotional roller coaster. And so, our work is to show you the beyond and beyond the beyond, which cannot be described, can only be experienced. And when you experience it, you cannot tell anyone else how it was. Any words that you try and describe the experience fall so short that you are almost embarrassed to try and describe it. So, beloved ones, take a moment now, each and every one of you. Close your eyes, relax. Allow these gentle sounds to take you beyond the mind, into a certain stillness within. Can you feel the energy behind the sounds that Robert is bringing to you? Very good. And we leave you in this stillness. And we will join you all again around the world in a few of your hours from now.